Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts, Virtek and Chibi Bree, are back from their latest adventures.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode with the Golden Feather. Today, it's just Virtek and I, but we have a lot to cover.
Yeah, we do.
How about that live stream today, guys? Hello, Woodchip. Hello, Theater Elf. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
There's some mixed feelings about the live stream. Mainly good, but a little bit of mixed feelings. We'll get into that. But one thing that we would like to address head on is I actually recently just got a job. So I think Fridays are going to be kind of hard for me going forward because I'll normally be working. I just was able to ask for, thank you. I was just able to ask for a little bit of time to myself today. And also Virtek is becoming a little bit more busy with work as well, and trying to pick up that extra set of hours there because money, you know.
Money's good. I like money.
Yeah. So we're thinking of moving it to Saturday. Did you have it same time or a little earlier Saturday, do you think?
I mean, how about, how's it work for you guys if we were to do, say, 1 hour earlier in the day, just to reserve some of the daylight that we have there for being able to use some natural light for our podcast?
Yeah, just a little bit, though.
I would say like 4 p.m. on Saturdays work for you guys if we were to do it that way.
Fine, I'm on EST.
Cool.
Okay, that works.
Because I know we have like Z that's...
Go ahead.
But yeah, we have like Z that's way over on the other side of the water, so it'd be like 1 hour earlier in the evening. She might be able to stay up a little bit more often as well.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was going to say was I'll go ahead and put these kind of things up onto our Twitter and our Discord for people to vote on, just so that those of you who are watching this, because we're not going to be here next week, so I'm hoping to have this up before next weekend. So when we come back, we will have more of a definitive, and we'll also make an official like tweet when we do get that decided as far as like what time on Saturdays we're gonna go in. So yeah, just keep an eye. We're gonna move over to Saturdays just because it's gonna work better for Virtek and I between our jobs, and you know, we're about flexibility here. And you know, we'd like to be as reliable as possible for you guys. So we want to try to give you as much a heads up notice as possible.
Yeah.
We'd like to not move it around too much, so if this really ends up working out a lot better for a lot of people, especially because, you know, Fridays people are still possibly at work or about to be getting off work or driving, lots of things. So if Saturdays end up working out better, then yeah. And yes, Switchip, I'm actually currently training for front-end UI development, and I'm going to be working on React stuff this weekend. I'm actually thinking of streaming it, so if you guys are interested in that, I will drop more of that information later, because that's for the end, personal drops. But yeah, but moving on, Saturdays, let us know what time. We're thinking 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm gonna stay away from standard or daylight, just Pacific time.
Yeah.
But
people get confused. We're in California. It's Pacific, whatever the adjustment is for that time of year.
Right.
But yeah, I was gonna actually specify earlier when you said you got a job. I was like, no, well, slight correction. Had a job, got a job in the area you were looking for.
Yeah,
is the key point. So
that's
transition.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. I did have a job, and now I have a better job that I wanted.
Yeah. Well, the training part for it anyway. But,
yeah,
you know, same difference.
Kind of. But anyway,
Oy.
moving forward, we had a big podcast today from Ashes of Creation. Lots of things were shown, lots of things were talked about. We don't have a guest, so I'm going to move past this part.
Yeah, no guests. We did have one, but we kind of got a cancellation like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to rush somebody to fit in, we figured we'd just roll with it.
Yeah. Hello,
Well, hello,
Marco.
RSA Marco.
Yeah, just go for the easier part of the name. Hi, Marco. Okay, so one piece of news that I feel a little bit probably conversely about. I don't know how you guys feel. We are a community podcast. We do want to know how you feel. Let me know if you agree with me or not, but I was a little sad to hear that they didn't give us a Q3. Instead, they decided to put Q3 into Q4, which to me, like, not respectfully, kind of defeats the purpose of a Q3. Maybe if they had a Q3 that said, hey guys, we're still working on stuff, but Q4 is going to be super juicy, I felt like that would have been a better approach to it. Yeah, so basically, instead of putting Q3 into Q4, I think just like a little blurb or like whatever they can share and just, you know, juicy stuff is coming in Q4 kind of a response.
Yeah, at least a little something. And sorry, Marco. Yeah, not playing today. We do a podcast every other week right now, just talking about what's going on with it, what's going on in the community. We try to bring certain podcasters and streamers and other just community personnel on, and we just kind of chat about things. We get their viewpoints and such. Yeah, and wood chip. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I was going to go with it. And what I kind of wish they'd included in the Q3 thing. I really wish there was the director's. So a director's message.
They're right there with
letter.
us. Hello, Reckless. Welcome back. How are you?
Hey there, Reckless.
But yeah.
They should have had something for Q3, even if it was tiny. Mainly just because that's been one of their promises. We're not going to announce anything or dates or whatnot unless we can hold up to it. And they announced and said they were going to hold up to a director's letter every quarter.
Yeah.
At least a quick something would have been great. The fact that they also held off until now, which is basically almost the end of Q4.
Right.
Or actually, I guess we're halfway through Q4 before announcing that there wasn't going to be a Q3 letter.
Right.
It was kind of poopy. I mean, I understand they got busy and all, but you know, there's things you can do, even a quick like, hey, this letter's going to be short. We're doing things. Have a good day. Wait for Q4.
I mean, as annoying as that would be, it'd be less annoying than what we're probably experiencing right now with the whole essentially it comes back to the keeping your word thing. Is a shorter delay than Nodes 3. Hold on, let me catch up on chat real quick. I'm a little confused. One thing Jalen asked about that they should avoid doing. Yeah, or talked about that they should avoid doing. Right. Like, that was the whole point of Margaret and Toast joining on, is saying, you know, like, here's these things. We promise to keep to these things. And I'm not saying that they necessarily broke their promise, but there's not a Q3. So, just something like for positive feedback going forward is, even if you don't really have a whole lot to talk about that you can't, because I know that in the past they've said, we don't want to talk about blah, 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 because we're not ready to release the details on that yet. We're waiting for certain details to be able to release it. So I understand that and I respect that. I like that they choose to go about it that way. But even something just small saying, hey, we're working on testing in-house. We're not ready to talk about this too much, because they did already share within this live stream today that they were testing in-house and they have been testing in-house. So even if it was just something like that, I felt like it would be a good thing.
And honestly, just with like the good faith, keeping good faith out there, is they really need to stick to their guns as far as what they say. They have to follow through with it, because people are already criticizing them enough about, well, everything.
Also, so I just got Woodchip's joke about the Node 3.
Yeah, shorter delay to the Node 3.
Yeah.
I like it. But yeah, they just got to say something. Yeah, delays have happened. Hey, you know, here's the, like, kind of what they talked about today, where there's a delay in the destruction mechanics for the castle siege, because the chaos isn't quite up to the performance par that they want it to be. So they had to kind of develop some in-house techniques to make it happen.
And that would be
they're kind of
perfect.
scalping. Yeah, like they're scalping parts of chaos and smattering band-aids of their own all over it with their own code to make it work. Like, just talk about that. Talk about how the siege is coming soon. There's a move happening. It's going to be great. Here's some pictures of the empty office. Like, this is what we're moving into, and then we'll show you some after pictures.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been pretty cool for a director's letter, and it could have taken them all of 3 hours to put it together in total, including driving over to the new office to take pictures.
Right.
3 hours, one and done.
And again, all of this is coming from a very respectful. We love Ashes. We're not trying to dog on them. It's just from a community standpoint, this is something that we thought we would have appreciated, or you guys definitely would have appreciated more so from what could have happened versus what did happen.
Yeah, I'd say it's almost coming more from a place of concern than criticism.
Yeah,
they need to do this stuff because, we backed it. We backed it pretty high, and we want it to succeed. That's all we want out of it. We don't want it to sink. We want it to fly above the rest, and we want it to do the greatest. So
yeah, and part of that comes with a community that believes in the product. Especially because there's a lot of people who haven't backed at all, or even if nearly as high as we have. And then there's the people that have the amazing backing packages that I'm like, if I didn't have college to pay for, maybe.
Right? If only I had bigger credit cards.
Right.
Just saying.
We'll just get their one credit card statement at a time over the years. But yeah, as far as APOC, sorry for the popping noise there. My chair has these things, so my bad. As far as APOC, I just haven't felt the desire to go back and play APOC. I also have heard from our last stream that it's been kind of a lot more dead. And part of that desire comes from not being interested in BRs in the first place, and not because I don't like what Ashes is doing. It's just that I'm already not interested in BRs, and then the lack of people at all, it diminishes that interest a little bit more.
Yeah, for me, I have many things playing against me on getting into the BR very much. For one, like you, I'm not really a BR person, so I kind of had to push and play it as much as I did just because it's Ashes. Mm-hmm. I've already played it a lot more than I would have for any other game. Yeah. But that being said, I just haven't really had time. I've been putting in overtime at work. I think I put in 52, 55 hours this week, something like that.
Yeah, we see each other an hour in the day. This is the most we've seen each other all week.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so there's all that, and I'm also trying to study up for getting my own job in coding and such. So yeah. And I'm learning from the ground up. So it's going to be interesting, and it's taken a little bit of time to understand and let the concept sink in before I move ahead to another advanced concept. But
sorry, I was gonna say wood chip. I'll get back to what you just said later. I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste that, and I will add that to something I would like to discuss or touch on later. I'm glad you brought that up.
I'll save my comments for later on it too. But yeah, that's kind of keeping me out of it. I guarantee though that I will be spending much more time on the castle siege and the horde mode stuff, because those are much more up my alley.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll see you in there a lot.
Yes, same. And to Marco, who was here earlier, I don't know if you're still here or not, but that is where you will see Virtek and I kind of excel at playing more often, is through the castle sieges and horde mode. Those are more, yes, they are still PvP. And I'm not anti-PvP. I'm more okay. Let me take a few steps back. Generally, I'm anti-PvP. But what I mean by I'm not necessarily anti-PvP is I'm anti-BR, but I'm testing it for Ashes. But I'm willing to play PvP because it is an aspect of the MMO versus the BR. Just to clarify, I still do not like PvP. I'll still whimper and cry when I die in player versus player combat. But realizing two things. One, Castle Siege's Horde mode is more, for me, it's group-based, so it's a little less daunting than one-on-one. But also realizing that Ashes of Creation as a whole is a world PvP game, and I'll have to get used to people attacking me. So going into that, like, for me, looking at the 3 options, I'd much rather do Castle Siege in Horde mode, which, by the way, has been confirmed. It is not separate. It is a part of APOC, as far as this current term. Sorry, that was a lot to get out there. You were going to say something.
It's escaped.
Okay. But
I forget.
Virtek is more so, like, enjoys the PvP stuff. I'm just more strictly PvE.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. What I was gonna say is I'm much more when it comes to PvP. I'm not a huge PvP person. I'm more PvE aligned. But when it comes to actual goal-oriented PvP, like if there's a thing to accomplish and you have to work as a team and divide and conquer, and you guys do this and we'll take care of that, and accomplish your goal, we'll accomplish ours, and then everybody rush for this other thing. Like, that stuff I love. And one idea I had, and I'm going to jump way ahead in like the timeline of the topics that we could cover, but when Alex was out and they were discussing the siege weaponry,
right?
You had the topic of like boxes you had to carry to reload the siege weapons, and then boxes you could carry like a deployable trebuchet.
Okay, there we go. I was like trying to read through it to help you.
English is escaping me. Actually, it's French, right? Trebuchet. But yeah, the deployable trebuchet. And Steven mentioned that when you have that box, and it totally makes sense, you're going to be in an encumbered state, and you're going to be moving slower and easier to pick off. But it made me think. Somebody asked questions on if you could launch players with trebuchet and catapults. Now, what if you pick up one trebuchet or catapult, drop it right there near the spawn point? Somebody else picks up one and just jumps in the catapult and gets launched across the battlefield to wherever you want to set the next trebuchet. And when they land, they might die, but the box is there and waiting now. Now, one of your teammates can just be nearby and open it up immediately. And you, like a rapid deployment of your trebuchets and catapults across the battlefield.
I'm gonna say I don't think that that's a possibility, mainly because I was paying attention to the chat this time. And yes, I did not really get a chance to watch it live. I was at work during this time. But hit B, right? But they're asking if they can load their friends in the trebuchet and launch them. And they're saying no, plus then they would no longer be your friends because you were now sacrificing them. But yeah, that and like, I don't know, for some reason I'm just like imagining, like, I don't know, it's one of those things. If you were to launch somebody and then there was like a box that ended up, I don't know, would that even be possible? Can you fit the person and the box on the trebuchet? Or would you just have to throw the box and hope the box didn't break?
I'm going to try every way that I possibly can to get that to happen. Like, if there's any kind of collision on the trebuchet or catapult, I'm going to find it and I'm going to get my toe on it at least. And I'm going to get launched across the battlefield with a deployable trebuchet in hand.
Yeah.
And I'm going to land and die. And then Reckless over here is going to run up on my corpse and build this trebuchet that I just sacrificed my life to deliver.
Not if the enemy gets to it first.
Well, Reckless is,
Are you playing a dwarf?
He's all about that PvP. He won't die. He'll get there.
I like Woodchip's question.
They are more aerodynamic. I mean, maybe just for Castle Siege alone, I'll play dwarf.
Another aside thing to go along with Castle Siege, there's actually 2 things I want to cover with that. First off, in the questions during the Q&A, somebody asked about the class skills, right? The class skills that were going to be available during the Castle Siege, and asking if it was going to be kind of like the BR where it's weapon based, and they said no. These are things that are going to be on your hotbar like a normal MMO, and that during the BR it was kind of more strictly just for skills that were actually useful for the BR, as well as things that needed to be attached to weapons to create the skill, kind of thing. There's going to be different skills and actual skills for the Castle Siege. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about was this interesting, like, Triceratops rhino thing. Virtek called it a Rhinerotops.
The Rhinerotops. Yes, yes. I want one. Because I want to be playing a tank in the Castle Siege, and man, it would be amazing to run up to the castle to siege on the back of a Rhinerotops.
Aw, Woodchip, thank you so
My
much
big
for
old
gifting
shield out.
Reckless a sub. We appreciate you so much.
Woodchip. We're gonna have to like karaoke sing some of like the biggest like "You Can Be My Hero" Woodchip
Oh, goodness.
like collections of songs.
When we say we, do you mean you? Because I'm a
Nope,
little
nope,
scared.
nope.
Nope, I'm stuck in that one?
Nope,
Okay.
Nope,
Okay.
nope. You're in. You're
Okay.
in.
Okay.
You can sing the backup melody. You can just do the woo, na-doo, and I'll sing the rest. How about
Okay, sounds good.
that?
Sounds
You have to do the dance. You have to do the dance too.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But yes, I want a Rhinerotops.
Can I just say, I know she's totally terrified of at all coming onto stream. But Jinsey, if you are seeing this, please never stop creating creatures. We don't know where they're coming from, but they're amazing.
Yeah, never
Yes.
stop whatever is happening in your mind when you're doodling new creatures. If
I
they
was
say
gonna-
go and that's what you come up with, just keep doing it.
Yes. And also Theater Alpha, I was going to try to figure out where to find that video and possibly put it on the back of ours. Because, I mean, what about that dancing bear, though? You know? She does.
Yeah, the bear needs to actually dance.
Kind of like the Final Fantasy one where it's like...
Do. Yeah, and the World of Warcraft when you dance as a bear.
Oh. Yeah, there's that one too. I thought there was a bear mount that danced. Nope, that was Druid. You're right. I'm wrong. Sorry. Just kidding. But yeah, no, it would be cool. I know that they said that that is currently thought to be something that will be pulling stuff for Castle Siege, but how awesome would it be to have one of those as a mount, though? Like, what if you had animal husbandry and you could take this creature and then somehow, you know how, like, okay, hang with me while I go through this, like, side trip. You know how they have these dogs that become like teacup version dogs? What if you can take this rhino triceratops thing and then create more like a smaller mount sized version? Like just downsize it a little.
What is a mount size?
Oh, it
Like
is.
part of the animation video where she was creating it. They put a person mounted on it.
Oh, okay.
Granted, it's still really large. It's still about as big as two horses smacked together, but still.
Yeah, because somebody had said that. I think it was Jeffrey. I don't know. Somebody had mentioned. No, I don't think Jeffrey was on during that time. Anyway, sidetracking. That Jinsey wanted it to be larger, so I thought there was mentioned that it was just going to be there for moving stuff during Castle Siege.
Oh no, yeah, he was saying it was like Chris Atkins.
Oh wait, hold on.
He was saying that, yeah, she wanted it to be where, the size of a person would be about the size of its toenail.
Sorry, I forgot to be a fox tamer,
no.
so.
Oh no.
I know, right? Gotta stay in character.
She got changed suddenly. It's like magic happened off camera.
But yeah, that would be really cool. Just to like write it around. It looked really awesome. I know that they're working on the barding and the everything else with it. So.
What did you guys think of? By the way, they didn't actually name it as far as I recall, but what I think is going to be the Tide Snapper.
Oh yes.
The backer only aquatic mount.
That they were talking about, like when you pull it on land, it's just gonna sit there and do this, And Margaret was not too excited about that idea.
Yeah, you summon it on land. I really want to see if you summon it on land. I really want to see it appear like on its back with like the little paddles just. Bloop, 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 bloop
Hello,
in the
Ashes
air.
of Creation. Welcome in.
Hey there,
We
Ashes.
missed you.
Wood chip. I think that was for every backer because it was the 11,000 backer reward is what it was. So I think
Yeah,
that
it was
goes
just
to
for
every
backing.
backer.
Does that go for
Yeah,
the
just for
summer
backing it
as
all.
well, or is that only Kickstarter?
Kickstarter. I think it was only Kickstarter.
Womp
They
womp.
might do something similar or might have done something similar for summer. I don't recall all the summer rewards.
It should look a little bit
But-
more fierce.
Yeah.
Another
But,
thing to keep note is that they said that the mounts were going to be separate, so you couldn't just like apply a cosmetic to it to turn it into a water mount. You'd have to call the water mount separately for
Yeah,
those
you gotta get the water mount.
underwater quests that I'm excited for.
Okay, they did. Okay, I didn't recall actually hearing that. I just remember seeing it, and the audio kind of went sideways because I was. Okay, maybe I'm talking over someone what was stated. Okay, because I just remember seeing it, and I was like, it's like a hydra-legged turtle thing. I think I remember seeing something about that, and I went back to the Kickstarter and said, yes, that's got to be it. That's got to be it. Yeah, it was a really good job on it. Really good job.
And Steven was confirmed also during this last live. Well, the one previously, actually, during the Pathfinder, that he's a Tolnar, Fox Tolnar. So, in honor of Steven, I am
Confirmed.
now a Fox Tolnar as well. Ah, Wood Chip!
Wood chip.
Thank
Oh,
you
you're so
so
great.
much. We really appreciate you.
Wood chip. Man, I'm telling you, if you're going to the launch party thing, you're getting
Please
like
let us know.
an extra hug. Yes. Please do.
And we'd love to take you out for lunch or something. You're very, very kind. Thank you. Ah, Tayloon!
But-
All the people are coming. But yeah.
But yes, Steven's also confirmed troll.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Like
And
in case it wasn't confirmed before.
to preface this is during them talking about Castle Siege stuff and how other games, like I think it was EverQuest he was talking about, did it?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. With the really large one.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, because it came up when the Big Daddy Diablo Dragon thing came out.
Yeah, that's right. Because he was talking about this thing that you had to fight for like 6 hours.
Yeah, 6 hours to get it down to 1%.
Hours! Fully geared 6 hours.
I just, man, spent all that time killing something down, and one of the opposing faction just decides to go, meh, let's heal it.
Yeah, you know, as we do.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt that he got tore up, like destroyed.
Sorry for being late. I spent like 5 minutes trying to get this clipped. Steven clarifying that Tolnar are not the result of corruption. Yes, I saw that. Yes.
Be nice to the Tolnar. Be nice to the Tolnar. They're the abandoned orphans of Vera.
Right? They're
Left
the ones that
behind
got
in a
left
burning
behind.
house.
Yeah, I saw your response to him saying yip. Thought that was common knowledge. Yeah, it's just Sunfrog was wondering if they were corrupted or not. And he was just clarifying that they were not corrupted. They were just left over from the apocalypse.
I think it's one of those things that develops on, like, people have their prejudices against dwarves and elves and orcs, and they're just trying to develop the basis for why they should be prejudiced against against the Tolnar, because they're the result of corruption. They were left home in a burning house, and how else do you think they survived?
Right. Oh gosh. But that being said, have you guys ever trolled in an MMO? And if so, what was your troll?
Oh yes, do share.
We're curious.
I love hearing those.
Yes, me too. I'm
sorry, I can be a troll in real life sometimes.
I can be a troll in the forums, but I've never trolled in a game successfully.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
I was just gonna say I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here. They also showed us the tree that is not Groot, the not Groot pet.
Yeah, they're not Groot.
Who Miss Log Day. But it was really cute. They were talking about being able to add in some layers so that you can swap out cosmetics to add different effects, like fireflies coming out of like the head area and things like that.
Troll for cannon fodder. Yeah, well, see, I try and do the same thing whenever I quit a game and I've actually accumulated a decent amount of whatever. I usually try and do the same thing. Like, I am not going to use this. I'm not going to come back. So to make sure I don't come back, I'm just going to give everything away.
Yeah. It's like that whole like get naked and dance and like or Grimmar and announce to people that you're quitting kind of thing. Back when Orgrimmar didn't die. I liked it before the before Cataclysm. I miss old Org. Anyway, I digress.
Oh god, Taylun. Yes, the little troll thing.
Yes.
You know,
it's seen some stuff.
I was so disturbed by that thing, yet it still looked cute somehow. Every sugar daddy out in IG. Oh, it's terrible.
Oh jeez.
The slightly awkward grin, bulging eyes. Yeah, exactly. See, you do it so well.
For me, it gave me Dobby vibes. Master has given Dobby a sock. Dobby is free now. Except now Dobby has fireworks and is like somehow gotten very overweight and terrifying.
That should be extra frightening right there.
Yeah.
That very deviously but relaxed smile, big old bulging eyes, and a box full of explosives.
It's like Dobby 2.0.
Yeah.
It's like Dobby meets what was it? One of those goblins from Pathfinder, the ones that are like obsessed with like fireworks stuff. Cobalt, I think maybe? No. I don't remember.
Cobalt.
Yeah. Not a goblin, Cobalt.
But yeah. Oh man, Taylun. Yeah, if they had think about like, because they said something about taking one and removing the smile and making it like a night version. Yeah. Night troll. Like, can you imagine a night troll in like combat fatigues and like black paint, like doing a little Mission Impossible style?
It honestly reminded me, kind of going back to a previous, I think it was episode 10, when we had Steven on and he was talking about like the corn maze children. It kind of like brought back this like very haunting, like Halloween-y feeling things. Like we've got the dungeon of abandoned children and this like stabby night roll version of this goblin.
Oh man.
Stolid
Snack.
Oh gee, I'd run in horror if I saw those at night. Right? Oh jeez. It could be like a April Fool's joke where you get on and there's like a dungeon of like corrupted children and like stabby McStabbers and goblins running around down there. Both horrifying and hilarious.
All at once.
Stabs in the troll rogue.
Stabby.
Yeah, or a Halloween event, yeah. So one thing that I did want to touch on going forward with the MMO is that as I believe it was Diggs or somebody else asked about the secondary classes influencing your stat growth, initially Intrepid did say that they were intending for there to be a stat change when you implemented your secondary skill or your secondary class rather, but that as of the last year and a half, somewhere around there, they've kind of pulled away from that just because it's already a very complex system. Reckless asks, what do you guys think about the 5 castles having their own 3 nodes to develop before Siege begins? I think
I like it.
It's a good way to slow it down. It's a good way to pace the game a little bit. Plus that, I mean, having go ahead.
Oh no, finish your thought. Sorry.
I was also gonna say, like, having the other 3 nodes, yeah, as Taylor just said, it gives it more depth. It has kind of a more supportive feeling where, sorry, I think the cat is, like, trying to get under the door. But, it gives more of a supportive feeling where you have your main castle and then, like, the supporting nodes around it, that it feels like more immersive in terms of building up that defensive system, in my opinion.
Yeah, to me, I like the added I want to say stages of it, because it's not like a one battle decides everything. Like you got to prepare everything, oh my gosh, for one battle. You can actually win the war after having lost a couple battles. You know what I mean? Like you can go through and say fight all these things to beef up and give yourself a little bit more benefit in the big battle, but you're not going to lose everything if you miss 1 or 2 of those. Like they can win. Your opposition can come through and beat you on one of the nodes, but that just means you don't have as many defenses. You got to play harder when it comes time for the big battle.
And as Tay just said, it makes it less one-dimensional. And as Makinoji says, it gives more ways to play as a saboteur. So if you are in a guild and you do not like where the guild is, and like perhaps you have your own freehold somewhere else and you want to see that developed, conflict of interest for you personally, would you be a citizen of one of the 3 nodes instead of a regular metropolis? From
how I understand it, the nodes around the PvP castles are not going to necessarily be like building up to metropolis level, so you wouldn't really be a citizen of them. It's kind of like you'd be a citizen of a metropolis, but your guild would own the castle. After you take it over.
And sorry to segue as well as to add, aren't those guild castles? Are they guild castles?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute.
It'd be owned by the guild. It would be a PvP, and the guild would end up winning it.
Yeah.
But those are also the ones that start off as like owned by NPCs.
Right, and then you kind of have to work for it a little bit. Level 3 max for 3 nodes that surround all military. Yeah, the guild owns the castle and they must have an alliance or invite other players to defend with them. Yeah. And then another thing, just kind of as a side note, that goes along with this topic is that there's going to be no top-down view for the castle sieges, as to make sure that people who have either died or are participating can't necessarily cheat and say like, oh, like the troops over here and we're over here kind of thing. And like now we know to sneak this way and to like block them. But there will be like a top-down view in the map so that raid leaders can mark where they want people to be at. So like it's not going to be top-down gameplay, it's going to be a top-down map, but it's not going to be updated constantly with where people are. It's just going to be a reference so that raid leaders can be like, Group A, I want you over here. Group B, I want you over there. You know, as raiders do. Yeah.
I mean, I actually kind of liked also how, if I recall correctly, doing Winter Grasp in WoW.
Oh, yes.
While the castle wall was up, you couldn't see what was going on inside the castle anyway. It was all not visible. You couldn't see if there was one person behind that wall or 100 people behind that wall. You just couldn't tell. Right. You just had to try and attack the wall and bring it down. If I recall correctly. Anyway.
I don't remember which one that one was exactly either, because I didn't really participate in those too much. But I know which one you're talking about. But yeah, this kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that they're saying they would like to implement more ping abilities. So being able to do like raid markers, things like that. Where is your hype meter after this stream? Oh, like Ash's stream or our personal stream? Just to make sure I'm answering your question properly.
Yeah, for after the live stream, I'd say it's about the same as it was before. I mean, there were some really neat things shown, don't get me wrong, there really were. But, I mean, there's still no castle siege, and we didn't get a director's letter from quarter 3. So, I mean, it's still I'm still kind of a stalemate. Like I loved seeing the art, loved hearing the details on what they're doing, and I like and enjoy the fact that it's moving forward, but I haven't gotten more or less hype since the last month's live stream.
Yeah, I can
and honestly,
agree.
even from the one before.
I can agree. I've been kind of like here as far as hype goes. I mean, I got a little excited when the BR finally released 24/7, but even then it kind of like came back down because again, I'm not really interested in BR, but for me, like the fact that they were finally able to get to the position in which they had 24/7 BR capabilities, that made me excited more for them and not so much for myself. Like I wasn't personally excited to play BR all the time, but I was excited that they were able to have the BR up all the time, kind of thing. Like that I'm seeing development progress rather, and I'd say like the only reason why it's not going down for me necessarily right now is because oh no, wood chip.
No, wow.
Wait, I thought that was supposed to be for subscribers, and he's a subscriber.
Yeah, we'll have to make an adjustment there.
Yeah. Sorry, Woodchip. I don't have the ability to unmod that stuff, so sorry.
Well, yeah, it was just a quick timeout for like a second or something.
Okay, cool. But yeah, and it also says I'm sorry, but links are MMORPG.com has gone down to 3. Oh, okay. So like their viewpoint of it has gone down to a 3 from like a 5. Well, part of it is like as somebody explained in the or commented rather, not explained, like Alpha 1 was supposed to be June 2019 and here we are December almost. And we aren't. I know in reality it's not always available. You make a good point there, Theater Elf, but in theory, if people were to get on and actually play, for the most part, it's always on, except for when they're like updating it for whatever reason. Be it bugs or something else that they want to implement. But yeah, now we're in December of 2019 and they did say, you know, like we're not following the original map anymore because we can't guarantee these dates. We'll actually say dates when we guarantee them, and I appreciate that. But in the grand scheme of things, people seeing maybe some of the older stuff where they did have a timeline and then looking at it currently, like it's a little, well, queues over an hour make it not available. Well, that's true too. But yeah, it's a little iffy at the moment. I mean, honestly, we're waiting. The only thing that made me from like my excitement level going down was hearing that they've been doing some in-house testing on the castle sieges, which means that they're at least trying to work on it. And I know that they have been, but it's just, you know.
Yeah, and I know that's Maki and Woodchip. Yeah, I know that's one thing that a lot of people keep bringing up, and I can follow it. I mean, my statement to that has always been like people will get over anxious and they'll try to meet a goal that they think they can make, but they really don't realize what's going on behind the scenes. And with Steven as a rookie when it comes to creating games, like he's played a bunch of games and he's seen maybe some close stuff with talking to some developers and such, but it's the first time he's really been involved with it. So you got to kind of, I mean, I'm personally anyway giving him some leeway on that. Like mistakes were made because of lack of knowledge, which is fine.
To add to what you're saying, also because there's some tools that they have to personally build in order to implement instead of being able to utilize. As such, what we were talking about earlier with the chaos thing and other tools that they have to implement because they're not quite ready to be released to them to actually be able to use from the Unreal Engine, or is it Unity?
Yeah.
What are those two?
Unreal Engine.
Okay, yeah. I always get those two mixed up as to who's using what.
Something with a U.
Yeah, that's usually my response. Something with a U. But yeah, I mean, there was just a lot that they're working. I'm glad you guys are still pumping out streams, because then Dungeon Crawler and Nut shut down their Ashes stream until more news. Oh. Thanks for doing this.
It's I mean, that's also why we went down to doing it twice a week, and we're also, I mean, because we are focused more on the other people and their thoughts and what they're up to and whatnot, we can, I mean, half of our show usually is talking about whoever we have on and getting them to talk about some of their views and things like that, and then having a discussion with them. So it's a lot easier for us. Oh, Theory Forge, I didn't notice.
Oh, jeez. I think we need some reassurance with some solid, tangible backup. Yeah, I agree, Woodchip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like to add on to what Virtek is saying, and Samaric, yeah, so to add on to what Virtek's saying, and also to kind of add into like the fact that it's holidays, it's just, we care about what you guys think at the end of the day. Like, we are here for you. We want to know what you guys think. We want to talk about what you guys think. We want to share and shed light on what the community in general is feeling and thinking about the current situations with the game. And that's why we always want to ask you guys, like, how do you guys feel about this? What is your opinion of that? You know, and we'd like to toss some silly things in there, like the biggest, dorkiest thing you've ever done, you know. Aw, Taylor.
Say, you are loved and appreciated.
Yes.
If you weren't here, we wouldn't be doing this.
Right. We are here for you guys.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I see exactly what you're saying with that, and I agree to a point, but there's also a point, like some of the reason why we went to every 2 weeks is we didn't want to waste everybody else's time as well, just rehashing the same stuff over and over. And, you know, when you have a bunch of people doing podcasts and then everybody's covering the same stuff and there's not a lot of information to cover anyway, you just get 3 views on the same topics stated by 20 different people.
Yeah, and
it ends up just being overkill. So I can see them wanting to respectfully bow out because they didn't want to keep rehashing the same stuff and like inundating everybody with the same information that everybody else has already covered.
Right. And also another thing to add to that is, you know, the other part of the reason why we are 2 times so I can gather more information and make the streams have more impact. Okay, so I mean, that is something that I enjoy having, is your feedback. If you guys enjoy every 2 weeks, then that gives us more to go off of, because right now we're just pacing it in order to pull in enough information. You know, we like to go off of the forums. We like to look at what people are talking about. I try to be active in Discord, but it's really, really hard, especially with this new job. But I mean, there was that whole time right before the BR came back up, we were just trying, we were literally grasping at straws. And so like coming from a creator standpoint, it's never fun to grasp at straws in order to give you guys a good podcast, because then we feel like we're just talking about a whole lot of nothing. And we want your time spent with us is like very valuable to us. And so also, yes, hi Simrig, welcome in. They are actually fox ears. It's a certain type of fox. If you have ever seen not Demon
Shield
Slayer.
Hero.
Shield Hero.
What was her name?
Ah, man. I don't know, but I have her on my keys.
Raffalia? Something like that?
Raffalia, something like that, yeah.
Raftalia,
we got there.
We had to connect the dots for a minute there, but...
Yeah, so Raftalia is her same type of ears as what she has. So I'm basically her type of animal. It's like a raccoon, dog, fox thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, basically that's kind of the reason why a lot of people are dropping off, I think, is more about respect for not wasting people's time. They don't want to eat up everybody's time by always showing the same stuff that everyone else does. So
yeah. And I mean, it's sad for us to hear that, you know, they have to stop, but we understand because we've been there. Like, some of the times we've had to cancel our podcast is literally because we either didn't have anything to talk about or go off of at all, or like back when the forums weren't up, there was nothing to really go off of because there's nobody talking in forums because there wasn't a forum. Plus
Goes
2
on
years.
until number 2+ years.
Right. But
Hey, when we get a big lore drop, maybe we can get you on for some Tulnar info with Fushi.
yes,
Get you and
yes.
Fushi on, and then Bree and I would never get in a word edgewise because it'd be you two talking the entire time.
That would be Fushi. The Tulnar King.
Tulnar King. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, end of Q4, so end of December is when we are being told that we're looking for new information. And just as a quick announcement, just ahead of time, speaking of end of December, Virtek and I, in about a month, on December 29th, we will be out of our house for like a week, from December 29th to January 6th. Which is a week that we're not going to be streaming anyway. We're going to be streaming, was it the 13th and 27th? Or no, sorry, 14th and 28th, because we're moving over to Saturdays for the moment.
Well, hold on. Yeah, so we're so yeah, in case you can't tell, we're confused and adjusting things on the fly because for one, as we stated earlier, we're shifting over to Saturdays because her new job requires her to have some more attention on Fridays, and as with me doing overtime, I'm going to be working all of Fridays as well, whereas I used to have Fridays off.
In fact, as soon as we get done today, he's going to be like shifting into work gear and heading out.
Yeah, exactly. But also when it comes to December, because we are going to be flying out on the 29th.
Yes.
We're not going to want to cast on the 2nd and 4th weekends.
Okay.
So we're going to do the 1st and 3rd. So we'll be streaming on the 7th and the 21st is where we'll be streaming in December.
Yeah.
And it'll be on Saturday and probably
Thursday?
at 4 p.m. instead of 5.
Okay, there we go.
What's up?
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong calendar month. Just kidding.
So yeah, there's going to be a few changes just to make stuff a lot easier for us because of, again, the new work schedules and such. But yeah. We will have, however, some pictures putting up on the Twitter from out in DC. Be out there for the new year and going to MagFest.
Anybody who's going to MagFest, please come find us and say hi because we'd love to see you in person. Let alone anybody in the DC area where I was going. Go for it.
DC, Baltimore, Philly area. We're going to be up and down all that. So till our calendar, when?
Let me get a few more different kinds of ears and some outfits. I might make it a little bit more cosplay side thing, but you know, maybe.
Oi, oi, oi. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time.
Like, there's a lot to look forward to, especially with the Q4 letter. There's a lot to look forward to when Castle Sieges come out in the new year and everything. So, let me know when you're in Atlanta. I'd love to meet up. Yes, definitely. I think Atlanta, Georgia. Is that where Dragon Con is? Because I want to go to Dragon. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to Dragon Con. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll be down there at some point. For sure.
Yeah, at some point. Like, the positive thing with us moving over to Saturdays and working a lot is that we'll have more money to actually go do some of this stuff for fun. Especially as Virtek is kind of gearing into having a similar job to me instead of what he's doing, which is going to be a big pay increase for the both of us. So, a couple of things that I just wanted to touch on, just because I enjoyed these things, are that somebody had asked if there was going to be secret vendors, and the answer is yes. I love secret vendors. And the secret vendors are going to be like limited vendors selling specific things to organizations you're a part of, whether it's a guild or like a faction, or like if you are worshipping a certain deity, maybe they will have like deity-esque things for you, as well as things for events and crafting. So I really like the interactive part of that makes it a little bit more immersive into the game, with the whole specific types of things that you can get during the different limited vendor sellings. And then I had to add this one in there because somebody asked if you could use plants in fighting to to eat your enemies, and my response in the notes is no, you won't be able to make a cow plant, Sims 4. That will eat your enemies for you. But as Margaret stated, maybe you can create a maze on your freehold to kind of confuse them, which I've been kind of on a Sims 4 video kind of binge, but it gives me an idea because this one guy made like 100-mile long hallway that just like goes in a square around, and you just have to walk around and around, and it goes up to the next level. Can you imagine putting a maze where you have to like follow this thing and you're just like going around and around and around, and like eventually you'll get to the middle, but it'll take you so long that like the freehold owner would probably know you're there before you even get there.
Yeah. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah, I like that. Like, no Plants vs. Zombie action, unfortunately.
Aw, womp womp. But I like what Taylor
Womp
said. Secret
womp.
vendors plus named NPCs from Kickstarter rewards.
You think? What's a name a secret vendor?
Oh, that would be cool. Or, there's a certain level that if you backed, you get to create an event. I believe that was in the Kickstarter.
Need this item?
thing.
Seek me. I'm not going to give you one, but I'll sell you one.
That would kind of suck, but also be a little bit funny. That would be on the troll side of things. Like, you jerk, but also funny. Secret Chibi Bree selling various ears and unique costumes, right? Get your Tolnar ears. Blend in with the Tolnar here.
There you go. Tolnar disguise. I'm pretty sure every seasonal one that came out, Foosh would probably buy 3 of them. You only need one, but just in case one fails.
Right. Also, somebody mentioned if you could turn off your nameplate, and they said no, like if you hid into a bush, you cannot like get rid of your nameplate. But let's say you're a rogue and you put on a certain ability. Some abilities, some skills will allow you to be able to turn it off, but only if you have those skills.
Is super nifty, actually. That would help a lot when it comes to actually being hidden and being sneaky.
Yeah. And then I can actually sneak out of like being in a PvP encounter because, you know, I hate being in PvP encounters.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. Like I could see a majority of the rogues picking that up.
Wearing animal ears. Effect, 5% discount for all of the Tolnar vendors. I love it.
Effect, happier greetings while visiting Tolnar villages.
Yeah, Rogue Ranger all the way. I agree. But you were saying...
Also being pointed at and laughed at by dwarves. Because I could see them making fun of people who wear fake animal ears. But yeah, like the other thing that I was... I guess that made me, like the one thing that they said that actually made me kind of concerned, I guess not really concerned, but I guess the one system that they have to work on that does give me pause on how long it's going to really take is going to be the questing system. Every time that comes up, I always think, man, I'm a problem solver by nature. Like I love figuring things out and coming up with solutions, but that is one of them where I can just see whiteboards stacked upon whiteboards of theory crafting on how to make it work in a world where a node can develop completely on its own based on if people decide to level there or not.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to make a quest system bound to the world that's also not bound to progress in a node or multiple nodes? And have it really tell like a full story, quote unquote.
Right.
That's the one thing that sounds like a perfect mix, like the perfect storm of a dream and worst nightmare of a problem solving, programmer, is how to make that work.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a little bit of what I'm learning, because I'm learning React right now, that sounds like a lot of nodes. A lot of nodes for a lot of different types of questing things that can go on there, and integrations, and thinking about it is starting to give me a headache. Never mind.
Well, it's one of those things because they said that some of the nodes without something occurring, it's just going to be a dormant "this could happen someday" event.
Yeah.
So there's going to have to be some things in the world that are very static and aren't going to change with development of nodes at all, that are going to be there because of the core story.
Right.
Which, to be honest, I could see a lot of it working out well like that. I mean, you have like the starting place, the starting city, so to say, like that you could almost assume is going to be built up to a certain point by default, just because people are there and they're welcoming you to the planet, right?
Yeah.
And you can pick up some quests there, and then other places are going to be like ruins and such that are going to be on the planet no matter what.
Right.
And hopefully they don't get adjusted. Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. Nodes 3 soon, comparatively soon.
Right.
With another 2 years, it's still soon, relatively.
The other thing is also, I liked that they said that the dailies are not going to be like your typical dailies, but just kind of a little bit ending it here, wrapping it up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a video that is I don't think there's audio, I don't know, but this guy kills 3 people with 1 HP to spare, and I think his name is Hajrim?
Yeah, it's something in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's intense.
We'll have the link for you.
Jerem, if the J is pronounced like a Y. Hirim?
Maybe. But here's the link for it, if you guys are interested. It's really, really cool. I would not have survived, but I think it's cool that he did. Because, your girl just does not do BRs very well. Yeah.
But yeah, I never do that well, even close to it, when I land and start fighting somebody with a bronze axe. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've killed a couple of people like that, but I think those are the lucky instances. Usually I get destroyed. But took on, what was it, 3 or 4 people? I can confirm there were 3 people that died there.
Yeah.
But
it looked like it said 3. And then for the fan art Friday, from Ashes of Creation, is this lovely redesign of the Aegis of Vigilance. I am always really bad at these words. But I thought that these were really, really, really cool. It looks really well done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It looks almost
really,
like
nifty.
It was made by the folks over at Intrepid, in my opinion.
Which is funny, because if you haven't seen the tweet, like, check out, here's the source that somebody used when they went to doodle that. So there's the actual source material.
Yeah.
It's that shield.
I want to get bashed by that. It's so epic looking.
And it looks really cool and all, but this person's version just went way over the top with it, and I love it.
I was almost like, can I buy that version instead? Can they integrate that version in instead?
Like the which be the one I get? Can I trade?
Yeah, right.
Like, because the original one, it looks like, cool. There's some like mystic orangey power stuff in there, and it's kind of steaming through the little dragon nosy thing on the top. Yeah, that looks kind of nifty. And then this one comes out like, no, that's just straight lava inside the shield, and I don't know. It looks like the dragon's gonna come alive and like jump out of there and eat your face. It just looks a lot more brutal.
It looks really it looks very professional, in my opinion. Intrepid,
yeah,
I
honestly,
think you need to hire them.
Right? I mean, then again, it could have taken them like a month and a half to make that one shield, though. You never know.
But I don't know how long it takes everybody to do all the other cosmetics we've been seeing. So.
Yeah. See, I have no idea how long it takes to art because I don't art.
Yeah, neither do I. I really suck at arting. But one thing I did want to mention, kind of closing up here, is that they did mention that, you know, data only takes them so far with the information that we get from that. Whether it's testing or it's actual gameplay and the number of people logging in, etc. There's only so much that you can infer off of data numbers, where like that definitely helps with things from a different standpoint that players can't necessarily say. Like, for example, if a couple of players or people are playing and like they feel like there's something off with it and they don't know what exactly, there is a possibility to look into data to see what's going on with whatever, like make some tweaks, fix it, this, that, the other, you know. But what they really can't tell from data is how fun something is or how unfun something is. I mean, you can kind of guess that by the number of people logging in and doing these events, but you can't really tell completely unless our community gives feedback. And that's kind of something where we, the Golden Feather, align with Ashes of Creation and Intrepid staff, is that we kind of pull our thoughts, opinions, and stuff from the forums where the conversations are happening, whether it's a Discord forum or their actual official Ashes of Creation forum, or even our personal Discord for the Golden Feather. And I guess I'm going a long-winded roundabout way of saying, you know, at the end of the day, the Golden Feather is here for you guys, the community, and we want to know how you think and feel about stuff. And so, one of the things that I think that Virtek and I are going to start working on is putting out at least every other week, kind of some questions, just to kind of get you, the community's thoughts and views on things. We want to know where you guys should stand, or are standing, what would make something more fun, what would make something a little less fun, what you're most looking forward to. I mean, right now we're all looking forward to the MMO, but like if there is a specific thing, like for me, I'm looking forward to trying out this interesting tree of progression where you can progress your skills as a crafter or your fighting skills, things like that. Excuse me.
Oh, which one would Chip?
Oh yes, I already have it here. I was gonna get to that. This is just kind of like my like, hey guys, you know, we want to hear your thoughts and views and opinions. And on that topic, Woodchip had asked, or rather said that the concerning thing to them is the comments from Steven and Jeff start with "we want," "we think," "this is something we all look at," etc. And so it leaves them with a sense of like a lack of development completion. And I feel like my response to that was that that's something that they never really can completely pin down, because like we were talking about earlier with the secondary class augmenting your stats, initially that was something that they were thinking of, but now they're seeing that the system's already so complex that they kind of don't see the functionality of a secondary class adding into the complexity of the stats and such. And that's just my view and take on it.
Yeah, my take on that is it really depends on context. And what I mean by that is, let's say someone were to ask Steven and Jeff, hey, do you think it's going to be possible to tank with one two-handed sword instead of a sword and shield only? Like, can we tank with other stuff besides sword and shield? And if they kind of looked at each other and said, well, that's something maybe we can look into. I mean, that's a fairly straightforward, like when you're first doing your class designs, that's going to be something you want to think about, right? Is what, okay, let's make a tank. Okay, what do they use for a weapon? Anything, let's make it work. Or sword and shield. Anything else? No. And that's pretty concrete. Like, that's something you kind of decide, and maybe down the line, if enough people ask for it, you can say, hey, we'll look into expanding. But if your first question is what can they use, and the response to that a simple question like that would be, we don't know, we're thinking about it, we would like, that's one thing. But in reference of, say, the API thing, hey, so what kind of connections are you going to have for API? Is it going to be a REST API? Like what can you connect to? Is it going to be just like publicly available information that's just, gathered together, or is it going to be more in depth? That one I could totally 100% see we're looking into that one yet. We haven't quite nailed anything down, because that's a lot more complicated. Because
Plus,
even down to...
Sorry, I was just going to add, plus I feel like the API thing would be more towards after the MMO gets released, or end of MMO product release.
Yeah, but I mean, in theory, they'd want to have it nailed down ahead of time, so they can kind of plan for what things they want to be grabbable,
right? Just
so they can make sure that they have the names tacked down on what they're grabbing, and make sure it's easily viewable, sortable, and usable by whatever other tools they have grabbing that information. Yeah, because they'll use their own APIs as well across all of their tools. It's just whether it's publicly available as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to certain stuff, like it really depends on context. I think that most of the situations where I hear them say things like we want, we think, we would like, or we're looking into it, it's fairly valid in the point that they have at least offered their viewpoint on what the other options are. Like, we've been looking at this because it does that, but we've also been looking at that because it does this. And there's a tricky balance on which way we want to go with it.
Right.
So I'd say it's a wishy-washy way to go about my viewpoint, I guess, but it really depends on context on how I feel about it. Sometimes, I believe that they just didn't really put much thought into it, but it could also be that it's not really a very important thing at the moment.
Or that, things are constantly morphing as they're going through this progress of creating a video game, and things either like they have what they would like to do and what they hope to implement, but then there's also things where they end up just not being sure. But real quick, before I end it, I wanted to touch back up on what Taylun said, and I agree. I agree completely with this. Taylun says the BR would be more fun for me personally if players weren't the only threat there. I've seen other BRs do that. Another cool idea I've seen for BRs is that the circle is always moving across the map. And I agree. I think the other things being a threat should be, or could be, not really should be, could be at the next step going towards a MMO in the BR, where not only are we fighting each other, but like the cute little animals on the ground are like possibly attacking us too. I feel like that might be... Go ahead.
Random world bosses that would pop up, and the storm shrinking would delay until you beat the world boss or whatever.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool too. And that would be good ways to implement and test these features that they're hoping to add in.
It would cause an impromptu battleground right there. Like, people are going to want to beat that because of whatever boon or bonus or, advanced stat point gain it gives them. So everybody goes to fight the big boss, and a bunch of people get killed trying it.
And it would be a lot like how the PvP servers are on World of Warcraft with the world boss. We're all fighting each other anyway, but like the point is, do you fight another player while they're trying to fight the boss, or do you fight the boss and try to get the goods?
Yeah.
Corrupted trolls with knives trying to devour your souls. That's how the Shadow Arena is going to be. Yeah, so... thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm sorry we did go a little long, about 15 minutes over, but also I need to let Virtek be able to go get ready for work.
Yeah, because I gotta leave in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining us. And I see more of what you're saying. I'm going to put them in a to-do to chat about next time, and we'll see you on the 7th of December. So I will be on later on my own personal wood chip. Aw, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're so sweet.
Happy Turkey Day to you too.
Yes. May you have the largest turkey leg of them all and all the ale that you could possibly need for your adventures.
Nom nom.
Yes, so we'll see you the 7th of December, 4 p.m. PST, pending. We'll get your responses back and officially announce everything out. So, in the meantime, have yourselves a wonderful adventure, and we look forward to next time. Bye.
Good night. Adios.